Hello basketball coaches and basketball players, my name is Alan from Al's Basketball Training, and today I'm going to give you the strategies that coaches use on a full court and half court press defense. So hello everyone, my name is Alan from Al's Basketball Training. If you're new to this channel, on this channel I show you basketball plays, drills, and skills. So if you like that stuff, hit that like button and subscribe. But anyways, today I'm going to give you some great strategies that you can implement that other basketball coaches are using to stop the offense from even getting past half court and turning over the ball so that they can get more points from their defense and score more and win more games. Anyways, I am super ridiculously excited because over the last 10 years, I have been building up my business, my company, and I'm going full-time in it. I'm going from 1 video a day up to 2 videos a day, and that's starting May 5th. And this is just going to be amazing. It's going to be an amazing time in my life, and I'm going to be loving sharing it with you. So anyways, let's get down to the clipboard and let's check out how these basketball coaches, actually every basketball coach, how they trap players and the strategies they use. Okay, so basically what we have is the blue guy. He is going to be our offense. Red is going to be our defense. Now, I've got this into the diamond press, but don't worry about that. What I'm going to show you is, first off, these 3 players, their goal is to get the offensive player, the player with the ball, towards the sideline. Now, the reason for this is along the sideline, you can trap the opposing player. Now, how you can do that is you could do that very easily by guiding him over towards the sideline. Now, if you do it along the sideline before half court, he can still kind of back out of it and spin out of it or just get out of the trap itself. Now, it's still not that easy to get out of, but that is one way that players or teams can trap and stop a player from advancing down the court. Now, obviously these players would be moving over. However, the next option is to trap the player, or the next strategy is to trap the player at half court. Now, when that happens, the reason why this is so deadly is because there's 2 players who have stopped his progress down the court, and he cannot back out of it because that's half court. So he is trapped in this triangle, and from there, the only way he can get out of that, if done properly, is to pass out of it. Now, every single defensive player has to play with their feet. They cannot be reaching in to try and get the steal. I personally, as a coach, don't really care how many steals you get. I want the player to get trapped on the sideline so that now we can get that player to turn over the ball. Don't reach. Play defense. Use your feet. Keep your hands up or to the side, but do not hold the player back in any way with your hands. Keep your hands off of him, and you will get a lot of steals, not on ball steals, but you will get a lot of steals where he tries to pass out of the trap, and one of your other players will intercept that ball and go down court. Now, these are a couple of strategies that coaches use. Now, another strategy that I personally use, and not many coaches actually use this, in a full court press, and every other coach has 3 lines, for example, or even 4 lines. The 1-2-1-1 was a 4-line press defense. If you're running a 1-3-1, that's 3 lines. So that would be, you could use that as a 3/4 court press. And the strategy behind this one is this player, number 1, he is not going past the free throw line extended. He is staying behind it. These 3 players are not going past half court. The reason is as soon as one of them goes past half court, you're now opening up an area of the court for the opposing team to pass to, and you do not want that. So now let me get some offensive players on the court so I can explain. Okay, so generally speaking, this is kind of the spread that you would see. Now, if you have player 1 moving up to guard player 1, you're now freeing up all of this open space, and he needs to then hustle his butt back and now they can break the press by going and passing to, for example, here, player 2. So player 1, he wants to stay home. He wants to protect the middle of the court. You want to force the ball towards the sidelines. So then what you would have is player 1 passing to player 2, for example. This is only examples. You would then have player 1 going over to continue to move player 2 over towards the sideline. He would be 1 to 2 steps away. Now, you may be saying, why should player 3 not move down? Well, the reason is now we have this side of the court open. Even though that's a cross-court pass, if the ball gets reversed really quickly, and now you have a player who's over here, that's not a cross-court pass anymore. That's a very easy break of a press. So, you want him to stay home so that if they do reverse the ball, player 1 can now track back, and he can now cut off that ball. Now they're going to try and pass over to this side, and now player 1 will go over to that side, continue to move him over. Even if player 5 blue moves down, player 5 red can now cover that guy, and player 2 can move down over here. This is the way that you should be running it, because now what you have is, even though this side of the court is open to get it past half, even if you were to reverse it, player 1 is going to be able to cover, player 2 is going to be able to recover, and player 5 is going to be able to recover. Now let's see the strategies behind a half-court press. Now at a half-court press, it's very similar. Now you could have a 3-line, a 1-2-2 half-court press, or you could have a 3-2, which is a 2-line press defense. Now, what we would have is, again, we don't want any of these 3 players to cross half court. The reason is, as soon as one of these players crosses half court, you can now move up, pass back to player 1, he's out of position, player 3 is past half, and now you're screwed, because even though player 3 might run back down, player 5 is going to scramble to try and trap him because now they've made a mistake and they're just going to make more mistakes. We now have player 5 open to cut towards the rim as an example. Player 4 might try and cover, but now it's just a pass for a layup. So you want to stay home behind where your line is. So by staying home, now let's say we have the team advancing up to half court. They have 4 players past half, and they have 1 player still not past half who has the ball. Player 1 is going to force player 1 to go in one direction or the other. So he's going to go and force player 1 to go over to the left side, just as an example. As soon as player 1 forces the player to go in one direction, player 3 is going to move down so that he's covering middle. At this time, player 1 is still forcing player 1 blue over, and now player 2 is taking that player. So now we have a double team on the player 1, and now they're forcing him towards the sideline. And now once he gets to that sideline, we're still going to be having player 3 cover middle. We're going to have player 4 covering the deep pass, and player 5 is going to be covering this corner. And again, you can try and force him right into that corner, and now you don't have too many passes to go to. So as long as you stay behind where your line is, so if it's, again, that 2-line press defense, as long as you stay behind that line of your press defense, so if it's a 2-line press defense, you're staying behind half and staying behind the free throw line extended, you're going to be very successful as basketball players and as basketball coaches. Now, I hope that these tips help you. These are tips that I teach the teams that I've coached, and these are tips that I teach my players that I train. Now, I hope that you have enjoyed. I hope that these strategies help your team win more games and create more turnovers. If they do, let us know in the comments below. I would love to hear from you, and I will see you guys again tomorrow for another daily basketball video.